Alright, it's a perfect fall day. Time to learn some timber framing. Family says I couldn't stay at school this weekend, so I'm just going to do some work here at home where I've got this perfect view. We're going to start with a pile of stock I brought home from school here. I've got some 2x4s rough cut to 1 foot length. Our first step is to square these down to a usable size. So you've got your drawing in front of you, hopefully. I'm going to go, unfortunately, from memory. But you're going to use your drawing, so if I go something different than drawing, you do what the drawing says. But we're going to follow these steps in order. I'm going to use my own personal tools here at home. It's just going to look a little bit different, but the process is the same. Alright, somewhere back here, I've got a jointer, a bandsaw, and way back here in the corner there's my planer. Alright, let's get these out and get going. Alright, step 1 in cutting and squaring stock is we're going to use the jointer, and we're going to square the face and one edge. I'm not at school here, I'm at home, so we're going to use the poor man's dust collection system, and that is to make a pile in the driveway and sleep it up later. Alright, so to do this we're going to need a push stick or a push block, our stock, and the jointer. Here we go. Going to cut and square some stock. Hey Jaylee, thanks for the push stick. So I've got my 2x4 stock right here, and we're going to joint two sides. We're going to start with the face. Face goes down. Since it's down below the fence, we are going to use a push. In this case, I'll use a push block. And we're going to make a couple passes on the face. All right. Step 1. Let's joint the face. Okay, so we still have some rough spots there. We'll go one more. Let's use the push stick instead. Okay, so we've got one flat face there. Next step is we want to joint this edge so that you've got a square 90-degree angle right there. Jointed face goes on the fence, and we'll make a couple passes there. And what we're looking for here is a perfect 90-degree angle that should sit tight up against both the fence and the table. Okay, so we've done one face and one edge. We're on step 3. We're going to need our planer here. Again, I'm at home, so I've got my tiny little planer from my garage, but this will work just fine. The procedure is going to be a little different than at school, but similar. Follow the procedure for the tool you're using. So we're going to take these boards here, and we're going to plane them down to a thickness of 1 1/4 inches. Again, if your drawing specifies differently, do what your drawing says, not what I'm doing, but the process is the same. Okay, so I've got my boards here, and I've got the face that I planed and the edge that I've planed. The planer doesn't do anything on the bottom, it's just a table going through. All the cutting's happening on the top edge up there. Okay, this would be a good time also to point out that you don't want to stick your fingers in there. Okay, so I've got my board. That's the edge that I ran through the jointer. That's flat, so the flat edge is... I've got my ruler handy. What I want to do is each pass is I'm going to check my thickness. So right now we're at 1 3/8. We're going to take 1/8 of an inch off. First pass, we're right at 1 3/8. So we're going to do a couple passes and check again. So that puts us right at, we're about a 32nd of an inch over still, so we're going to do one more pass. Half turn. Now let's do a quarter turn. So notice how I backed it off and then came forward. See all that right there? That's gear lash. So we were here. We're just going to do a quarter turn. And we are right at 1 1/4. Okay, so now we've got our original face, an edge, an opposite face. We're ready for step 4. Okay, we're ready for our last step. We've jointed one face. We've jointed a square edge. We've planed the opposite face. So now we're going to pull out a flat face on the table saw, and we're going to trim this to the exact width we need, and this will be our correctly sized board. Okay, first thing we need to do is we need to raise the saw blade so that it is 1/4 of an inch above the wood. So that's just to the gullet or above the teeth. Okay, next thing we need to do is set the fence, and we're going to read the scale right here. So we are at 3 1/2, 3 1/4. Lock that in. Grab our push stick, and we are ready to go. And we can see that almost jointed too much of that off on the first pass. You have to be really careful on the jointer. All right, got my push stick. There's my Jaylee push stick right there. Got a 90 on that. Nice job, Jaylee. And let's make a couple cuts here. Okay, remember, don't reach into the blade until it's completely stopped. Okay, so we've got a little bit of rough stuff right here, but this is our board. It is correctly sized. According to my plan, it's 3 1/4 by 1 1/4, and we're ready to do some joinery.